John Thain, the head of NYSE Euronext, is slated to be taking over Merrill Lynch, filling in for Stan O'Neill, who was ousted October 30th. What does this mean for NYX if you're a holder? Welcome, Jim Cramer.
Don't worry, finish.
So do you think this is a positive move? We've got Duncan Niederauer replacing John Thain.
I don't think it matters. The stock's back to being hated again. People are now saying, listen, CME is the golden boy. They don't have a futures. They're not futures in America. No one wants to look at anything other than market share versus NASDAQ for this very small piece of their business. It doesn't matter what Duncan says. It didn't matter what Thain said. It's a European company. If I want this stock to go up, I would have Duncan move to Europe. He's very seasoned. I first met him in London. They need to leave New York. They really need to leave New York.
Kind of like when Halliburton CEO went over.
They need to leave New York. They should not be here. Because until they do that, where people are going to just look at this versus NASDAQ. And that's an unimportant, that's one metric that shouldn't matter. Duncan is a known hatchet man, and he's an electronics guy. I mean, obviously, they have to get rid of the specialist system. They've been doing this hybrid system, and it's wrong, and they need to fire everybody in order to be able to get to be like CME. They need the leverage. This should be a really good quarter. No one cares. The last quarter was fabulous, and the stock's down substantially when it reported. So, they need to get out of America. They just need to they should call it Euronext NYSE. They should minimize whatever they're doing here. Now, they won't do any of these things. All these things I just described are impossible politically because it's in New York, and But I'm telling you, if you want the stock higher, as long as you're here, Duncan's going to face the same problem as Thain, which is that you can't tell the story. You try to tell it a million ways, no one's listening. So, Thain is no more or less forceful. He's obviously considered to be a great guy. Duncan is. I like Duncan very much. I work with him, know him from Goldman, but it doesn't matter. No one's been able to break the linkage from the stock versus the NASDAQ, and yet that is like maybe 1/10 of their profit. This is a great weak dollar story. It's a great story about when we always look at what markets are doing well. They are all in the Euronext world. What markets are doing badly is ours. So if I were Duncan, I would announce point blank tomorrow. I said, listen, the company's now, we're going to move to Paris. And we will come to New York at least twice a month to explain the story. But the business is in Paris. And we love New York, and as soon as we close what's going on downtown, sell that real estate, we are going to address it point blank. But we got to get out of physical trading. We got to just get rid of the whole New York Stock Exchange.
Now, that's probably not going to happen, like you said. But do you
you
envision
want the stock higher. Otherwise, the stock's just going to tread water.
All right. You don't envision a different NYX?
Well, I'd love it if they would announce a big buyback, or I'd love it if they would buy a futures exchange. Either one would be fine with me. To just do nothing means the stock's going to do nothing. So, Duncan has three courses. He can buy a futures exchange, he can do a huge buyback, or he can move the company. Short of those, then it's just the same as business as usual. We all love Thain, but the stock stunk.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, we revere Thain, but how about the stock? And the stock's been an awful stock.
All right, move to Europe, NYX.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Jim Cramer on Wall Street Confidential. Stay tuned.